Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Velvet Lounge Life, and I have a button haul here for you. So I'm just going to go through and show you some of the items that I got this weekend for $4 for all of this. And I won't go through every single thing in this box because honestly we would be here for at least maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I know you have better things to do with your time, but I do appreciate you taking the time out to spend with the Velvet Lounge Life and enjoying one of our favorite little accoutrements. And I will also have some tips for you as to, how you can also buy in bulk, what to look for, because one of the things that you definitely don't want to do is to, sit there with a loop or something and going through everything in great detail before offering the person a number. It's better for them to give you a number, to be honest, and then you to counter that number for the purchase of items, whether it be buttons or anything else. So we'll, talk about, like I said, some of the tips and things, but mostly I want to look at, where these items were sold, which you could tell if there's a sales tag, how much, and of course, like the makers, what the items are, and if we can tell, any other little details, distribution, that type of thing. That's one of the reasons I think, in my opinion, having items that still have the paperwork with them, such as buttons on cards, it's such like a little nugget of valuable information that you're never going to get anywhere else. There are a lot of people out there who are like, this is this type of button or that type of button. And at the end of the day, who initially came up with these descriptions? Of course, if the descriptions were by the maker, which is why I love having something like this or the box that they came in or something like that, then 100% you could take it to the bank. Otherwise, over time, certain names, descriptors, etc. were given to buttons, so that people could identify them. Same thing with anything else out in the world, especially when you're collecting. But anyway, these are some really cool 4-hold buttons. There's only 3 of them on this card, and these were for the Lids Brothers Inc. And I think that K is for Kmart. And here we have some for Grant's, which was a department store here in the United States. These are so delicious. They just look like little orange candies, which is another thing to be aware of. Buttons and children. Even, I would say, up to age like 6. Be careful. They may have mistaken some of the buttons for, candy. And obviously they're not candy and they do pose a choking hazard. So just always be aware of that. But these were 49 cents actually when they were first sold. And I want to say that there's like 2 cards of these in the box. I did do just a really quick, and I do mean super quick, look as I took things, because when I bought them in these baggies, and they were being sold for 75 cents and $1 each. But I was able to ask the lady if I could buy all of them for one price, and she said sure. And I asked how much. She said $4. I didn't even counter. I know that in the world of resale, resellers are like, why didn't you offer her 2? Sometimes you just give people exactly what they asked for, and come on. I know what's in this. Like, I could tell quickly, and I didn't even open any of the bags when I bought these. Like, when I saw this buckle was in one of the bags, yeah, I'll take that. This is what one would call a nurse's buckle back in the day. And it's pretty large and chunky, and you would be able to use have a fabric belt, and obviously using this buckle, you would be able to change out the fabric so that you had basically almost like a custom build. I think there's a maker's name on this, which of course I don't have my loop, so I can't look it up. But this alone is obviously, I would polish it up a little bit, but worth much more than the $4 that I paid for everything. And that's the other thing. When you buy buttons, or some people buy like not jewelry boxes, but they'll buy sewing kits that are just full of everything. That I just love going through, like something is, you know, when you go through it and you're like, oh, I'm buying this for the buttons or the costume jewelry or whatever. And then you find like all these other secret little nuggets in there. It's always so much fun. This bunch or bundle that I purchased had some nuggets in it. It didn't have as many nuggets as usual, but the nuggets that are in here, I thought there's at least the buckle and 2 others that I think are very, very interesting. So in button world, we'll go back there. We have these fashion styled buttons, which are, look at that, genuine pearl gadolith. So sometimes we are lucky, and these are by this company. We are lucky and we are able to actually have the material that was used to make the buttons on the card. That's one of the ways that, you know, buttons that are not on cards are identified. So someone would take this, keep it in their arsenal, and then as they went through their giant batch of buttons, they would see if they had any that matched this material. So, you know, there's a lot of education that one can gain by having these cards. So that's a lot of information, which is awesome, because it even says, you know, made in the USA, so you know what what country of origin the buttons came from. You guys, I was up until like 4 o'clock last night, so I am still recovering from that. Now, these come from an era that I like. I like a lot of eras, but it's just one of the other eras that I like. And that is the mid-century modern era during the brutalist period. And you could tell when something is of that era because it's chunky, it's hard, the lines are maybe a little bit rough. They could be lumpy, bumpy, sharp edges. You know, I don't know why I like it so much. I think I like it because out of the mid-century modern period, which had several different styles from kitsch to, you know, the geometric, you know, thing. And then of course you got all into colors, etc. And I think this is just, in my own opinion, this is part of that era that just either you liked it or you just totally hated it. And I think that it was sort of a little unrespected, if you will. So therefore, I, who will pick up the strays, I saved a turtle by jumping out of my giant SUV and running in front of it as a car was coming in the other lane to pick this turtle up and take it all the way to the side of the road where there was a pond, I believe it was a pond or a lake, that it was headed to make sure it was safe. And my husband was like, not even surprised. He didn't even bat an eyelash. He was just like, my God, I was hoping you wouldn't get hit by a car. So yeah, so I think that's why I sort of like this mid-century modern brutalist design, because, you know, it's sort of like that stray turtle. And these were made for the Woolworth company that actually, if you find any buttons and they don't have this price sticker on it, but the card says unusual value in fashion buttons, 90% of those, if not all of them, were made for the Woolworth company. And there might be more in this box that are made for them as well. Don't know yet. And then something else that I found in this batch were these, which I think is so awesome. And yes, folks, I will be making a couple buttons. I actually have these, like, not exactly like these, but it's the same design style idea. and they're like plastic, and they're still, and these, I'm going to say those were made maybe in the 1940s, probably due to the war. They were made in plastic. And then I have these that are not war era, and look at how large they are. These are pretty huge. And what you do is you stretch your fabric over the disc. You pull it around to the back where these little grippies are, so it grips the fabric. Then what you do is you apply this cap over the shank and you snap it in, and you instantly have a button. You can actually, interchange the materials if you wanted to do that. Obviously, over time, you'd have to be careful when you disassemble that you don't like dent the disc. But I thought that was super cool, and I can't wait to make some buttons. And I'm working on a couple projects right now, and they will definitely be revealed to you guys. Hello, like who else? Coming up soon. So continue watching the videos this summer while you're on your decks, enjoying a little bit of sunshine. You know what? I'm going to come back to these in a minute. Let's see what else we have. Oh, there you go. There is another unusual value. And notice that these are a different design. These are metal and Woolworths. So like I said, because a lot of times what happens, just over time, cheap glue. These were made, Woolworths was what they called a 5 and dime store. So AKA the Walmart of its day discount store. And so these tags obviously just kind of flake off. They just fall off. So that's why a lot of people don't know sometimes like where these were sold. And not just these, but I look at the buttons, like for example, the ones we saw made by Grant's. And, I get excited because I remember Grant's department store when I was a child. And here's another. These were made by Grant's, and hello, very obvious. And hello, super obvious because of the price sticker. And notice how they have 2 different price stickers on them, which I don't know why. Maybe they were sold at different Grants. I don't know. But anyway, these are some of my favorites. Why? I'm going to let you guess. Yes, because of the color. Look at the color purple. It is so purple. And these are so much more purple in like me looking at them here in real life than you seeing them on the camera. They're almost exactly that color, but they're a little bit darker in person. And they have the moon glow design to them. Just look at them glowing. Look at them glowing. And they were actually attached using little staples, which obviously that's not like a common practice anymore. And if you ever buy buttons that have a staple through them, or even the little metal, I don't know what it's called, they have this little metal thing that they sometimes attach the buttons to the cards with. If those are ever rusty, then you will want to remove those. So when I look at the backs, I always look to see if there's any rust, and there isn't any on these. Yay! And these are complete as well, which is awesome. I love the purple ones. I also love orange. I love pink, yellow. Whoa. Yeah, I'm a sucker for all of those colors. And also this emerald green, which I think that there's some in this batch, but I'm not sure. So these are by Streamline, and they were made in Holland. Notice the almost like Red Cross that is used here to like put it on the rack for sale. And the reason I say that is people can sometimes date the buttons by looking at this. And knowing they're made in Holland, come on, awesome. And also lots of information on the back of this card, as well as we just have the maker's name and the price on the front. And these are some cool, groovy red buttons. And I haven't looked at these in enough detail. I'm telling you guys, you're seeing some of the things as I see them to figure out what exactly they're made of. So, I will take that time to do that later, but today, and I just bought these yesterday, and like I said, I was up until like 4 in the morning, and it's relatively middle day right now. So yeah, I did not take the time to go through and do a lot of like, I did zero research. I am just simply, like I said, showing you what I see as I pull them out. These are very cool orange buttons, like so cool. And they feel like they're made of glass, and they sound like glass. And I told you guys in one of my other buttons how you could test for that. Unfortunately, you could tell it was cut here at the top. So, and I could tell there were other buttons that were up here. So unfortunately, you know, who made them, as well as, you know, the country of origin, we don't have that information. But like I said, will do more research in the future. And then here we have this almost pearlized moon glow effect. These are actually made of a plastic, and for Le Bouton, and they are, yep, by Kmart, 42 cents, and made in Japan. And like I said, lots of information on the back, which I love. As I told you, when you buy buttons, there may be all sorts of miscellaneous in here that you did not expect, and that is no exception with this $4 lot. Lots of little miscellaneous things. I thought that this was like the third most interesting thing were these gripper pearl snap fasteners by Scoville. And Scoville is a company that actually made a lot of uniform buttons. So I thought that was very interesting. And Scoville, it had a factory in Connecticut. And if you can see, these were 60 cents, marked down to 39 cents, and no sewing. So how did these work? I have absolutely no idea. But I know that there's these, and then I saw one where it was open. There it is. So there's this other one that was actually open. So they use these. So it's cool having like a complete package, and then I will be able to experiment with this open package. So we have some New England in the house. And then, wow, look at these beautiful orange buttons, which we already saw. What I'm saying wow about is, guess what? I have 2 sets. You know me. I will probably use one for a project and use one, obviously, for collecting. These, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I am going to do more research. I believe that these are Colt buttons. You can see. And the reason I think that is they made this design. I did not take these off of the card to look at the back, obviously, as you can tell. But the cat eye, as well as this disc design, I don't know if you can see the 3-sided triangle that's sort of embedded in there. I think you can see it better. Yep, you can see it better there. Those were designs that definitely were used by Colt. Obviously, other button companies use them as well, but I am going to do more research on these to see if I can tell for sure who the manufacturer was. And these were not made with Colt rock polymer, that's for sure, because they did make a pearlized version. And so, like I said, I have to do more research to see, but I do kind of remember when I was a child, because my mother actually made like our fancy dresses, or if we needed costume things. And I think she made shirts for my brothers as well. There were 3 brothers, so they all would have the same shirt, just different colors. And one of the things that I remember is seeing buttons similar to this, and they would be on this really long thing that would hang off of the rack. And you would go over and snip off, which it actually says, I think it says snip here. You snip off like your 6 buttons, and then you would snip it at the bottom. And yeah, that's how they sold these. And these were 40 cents. And yep, these are also 40 cents. And it says, I believe it says snip here at the top as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. Childhood memories. And these, I believe, are also buttons that were sold by Woolworths. How do I know? Looking at the perimeter, it's exactly the same as the others that I have. And now let's go to these. These are stunners. So when I saw that these were part of the batch that the lady was asking $4 for, I immediately just went over and purchased all of these buttons. These are made in Austria. They're imported, so you know they were made for the import market. And they are titled Alpine buttons, I think because of the design of flower. And also, at the bottom, there's plenty of information. And on the back, it tells us that initially they sold for $3 each. Something else interesting about the back is how the buttons are attached to the card using the pipe cleaner going through. And you can also see the shanks. And something else to take note of is that the buttons are two different sizes. So you have the larger button and the smaller button. And what you could do, because you saw how they're attached to the card, is you could actually remove 4 from this and take 4 small ones and put them there, 4 large ones, put them here. And especially if you're going to resale, which I plan on keeping these for my own collection, then you will be able to, you know, probably, like, for example, keep some and then sell some or use the others as for a project. But at least you'll have, you know, both sizes in your own collection, and someone else will have both sizes in their collection. So just, once again, some tips as far as, you know, button distribution and sharing. And another thing you could do besides, you could also trade. I've traded lots of people for buttons, so I love trading. It's super fun. And these are Lucky Day. That's who these were made for, made in the United States. Only 29 cents, so you can kind of date them just from that. And of course, you know, where would we be without another, I think it is a lion on top of the shield, and these were stapled on the back. So like I said, having the cards, it provides a lot of education, which is so much fun. I am always learning. I appreciate it when you guys, like, you know, send me information. These are, wow, a lot of them in here were made by grants or for grants. So this lady was definitely a Grants, Kmart, and I don't know wherever else shopper. But anyway, just to sort of get this video to the end, and first of all, I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank you guys for all of your comments, for subscribing. Hello, new subscribers. I'm talking to you. Hello, existing long-term subscribers, especially. Without you guys, there's no way I would still be doing this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't have to agree on everything, but we can be good, caring, understanding people. And I love that. I love, you know, being able to share different ideas, thoughts, opinions. So thank you all for, you know, definitely sharing your information, knowledge, etc. So these are some of the last buttons we're going to look at. I will first talk about these. These are really cool. I don't know. I would have to look up the like there's a company with the initial R. So that's apparently what they're going by for their moniker. And these cost 85 cents. So in my own opinion, these seem like something that are not as old. What I like about these are the tire design. I like the fact that the perimeter is almost sheer, like almost see-through. And then you have this thicker inner wheel part that is definitely thicker, and you guys can't see it, but it has a bit of a shimmer to it, an effervescence. 2-hole button, of course. So in the color, hello, that's such a cool color. Also, let's just put these back in the box. I talked about pearl buttons recently in a video. or depends on when you're looking. It could have been a while ago, and I will attach the playlist to all of my button videos. Here in this upper corner right there, you'll be able to click on the exclamation point and see those videos. But these are faux or fake pearl, technically shell mollusk buttons. The issue is people call everything mother of pearl, mop buttons. You may have seen that, and they're not. They're actually made from a shell of something. These are faux mollusk, aka shell buttons. They have that pearlized sort of look, which is why people say that. And these are mimicking abalone, but these are actually made from plastics. So I thought that was just something that was super interesting. And I think this K is the earliest K for Kmart. And of course, this is probably the one that they adopted after that. And you can see, once again, on the cards, plenty of information. And if you ever see this or the staples with rust on them, I would remove those. And what I do is I keep a few extra of these so that if any of them ever are rusty, I can replace it with one that is not rusty. Because what will happen is eventually that rust will just, you know, start eating away at things, and you don't want that. And you also don't want it to stain your buttons. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Velvet Lounge Life. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I hope to have more button haul videos. It's early in the season. It's the first time we were out looking for deals and bargains. And I did really well. So I was like really, really happy. So thank you guys so much. Remember that your health is your wealth. Without your health, you have absolutely nothing. So please, please, please remember to take care of yourselves and subscribe to our channel. And also remember to give us a thumbs up. Just click the thumbs up. It takes like less than a second. Leave any comments that you have down below or questions, and be well.